Hey, it's J.T. Jones. Today I was thinking, what's the difference between the guys who don't really have that much trouble socially and with women and the guys who really struggle? And I was looking at different people, different guys, and I noticed a pattern. I noticed that the guys who aren't really struggling with women, the guys who are able to get over their fears, Um, those guys, generally speaking, have already gone through some rites of passage in their lives. So, what's a rites of passage? A rites of passage is basically some challenge that you had to overcome, some challenge that you had to go through, usually when you were a bit younger, maybe when you were in your teen years or maybe even in your 20s. So I've noticed that the men who had some sort of rites of passage when they were younger grow up to be much more adept to facing their fears, overcoming their fears, and dealing with their fears. And hence, that lends itself to them now being able to be social and go after what they want in the world with women. So an example is some guys, maybe they did wrestling when they were in high school. Well, wrestling is very challenging, and they had to overcome a lot of challenges, fears, insecurities, and so forth, and to build their character. And so that wrestling, those years of wrestling served as some kind of rites of passage for them. And so when they grew up, they then transferred those skills into the land of women, and that's why they were able to get over their fear of women, and that's why you see them, being able to go and talk to women and so forth. And so I was looking back at my life and my story, and it was very apparent to me that I did not really go through a rites of passage when I was younger or even in my teens. I was never part of any kind of sports group. Unfortunately, my father was too busy working to be around me, never took me fishing, never took me hunting, never really, did any of that man-to-man, father-to-son any of those activities, not even camping. And I didn't, I didn't have to go through any like really challenging thing in my life as a youth. And so I think that really contributed, that absence of a clear rites of passage really contributed to me struggling to break through my fears with women when I was between the ages of, let's say, 14 to 27. Okay. And so my rites of passage actually was something that I took myself through, which was facing women. So from age 15 to 27 and beyond, but let's just to give some kind of like concrete specificity to what I'm saying. From ages, let's say 14 to 27, I was really going out there, trying to talk to women, trying to get over my fears, trying to, facing myself, facing women over and over and over, because I wanted to get this thing handled. And that served as my rites of passage. So if you're struggling and if you're stuck, and if you're unable to overcome your fear, it may be because you've never actually been taken through a specific rites of passage. And if we go back to the tribal days, boys at a certain age, they are taken through a very ritualized, sequential rites of passage that is like a ceremony that officially takes them, okay, now you're a boy, now you went through this ceremony, you went through this rites of passage, okay, now you're emerging on the other side as a man. Well, a lot of us don't have that or didn't have that in this modern day because we lacked that family structure or what have you. And so what I think is important for you is to go through your own rites of passage. You have to learn how to deal with your challenges, deal with your fears, be able to rise to the occasion and face your fears. And I think that's one of the pieces that's missing for you. So I've created a program called Rites of Passage. You could check it out, jatjones.com/ROP, and we can help you with that. Or you can do it on your own. But either way, you have to take yourself through some rites of passage to have that clear change from boy to man. Now, in my study of, the ancient rituals of the different, just the modern day, like father-son relationship, what I've seen is that a rites of passage, and even in my own experience, a rites of passage follows a specific sequence, and it also involves a guidance from elders, guidance from men who have walked the path before you. So going back to my story, between the ages of 14 and 27, yes, I was going out there and trying to get this woman thing handled partially on my own. However, what helped me, finally figure this out, and what helped me graduate to the next level were mentors along the way who helped me and guided me through this rites of passage. So even though I didn't have my father guiding me, I had different mentors along the way, different friends along the way, different awesome men along the way who helped guide me and, kind of course correct me and tell me, okay, you're doing this, but you need to do this next. And so a rites of passage is a guided process. So alongside with my advice to you to go through a rites of passage, to finally face your demons, face down your fears, and face what you need to face as a man, you also have to find appropriate mentors to help you through this journey. There is no journey that is done completely alone. If you take the movie The Lord of the Rings, the hero of the movie, Frodo, he goes on a journey, but if you notice, he's not alone on that journey. He has different people along the way who help him ultimately reach his goal. And if we take all those helpers away, would he have survived? Would he have been able to destroy the ring? No, he would have died. So similarly with you, and similarly in every hero's journey, this is your hero's journey we're talking about. In every hero's journey, the hero uses mentors and helpers along the way to allow him to finally reach his objective, to allow him to get through his rites of passage, to help him finally face down all his fears. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, because I know you're feeling like, I'm missing something. Why are some men, why do they appear more brave than I do? It's because they went through a rites of passage, and because during that rites of passage, they had mentors and friends and people there supporting, other quality men supporting them. So that's what's needed for you. You need to find a rites of passage and have people who are going to support you in that. I've created a system for you. If you want to plug into our rites of passage program, I invite you, or you can do it on your own. But when I say on your own, don't do it on your own, because doing this whole man thing and figuring out women, your number one biggest error is going at this journey alone. You won't make it. You just won't. The stats are there. It's proven. It's scientifically proven. Men who go at things alone fail. So go through your rites of passage, find the appropriate mentors and supporters, and that's how you're going to break through your fear. Not by watching more videos alone, not by reading books alone, not by thinking alone, and not by going out approaching women alone. Alone is a losing formula. You need to mastermind, you need to gather with other men, and you need to face down your fears and go through your own rites of passage. So I hope that helped. My name is Jati Jones. Take care.